What you heard today from was from a lot of special interest groups, and I have to discount those comments. Certainly engineers and contractors are going to want to have jobs, but it's not their responsibility to have to pay back the money that those jobs are being paid from, and it's ours. And secondly, we have to be concerned with the amount of money that we as a state are obligating ourselves for in the future. And as I said, and no one challenged, it's up to $41.4 million a year to save 13 minutes on a trade ride from Charlotte to Raleigh. And that still doesn't make any sense. And no one referred, or no one countered that argument.
Where does that 13 minutes come from?
NC-DOT gave me that numbers. All of the numbers that I'm reporting are coming from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. And those numbers were not available when we had the discussion in our committee meeting about a month ago. They're still now coming forward.
The numbers that you have, that 41 million, is that in 2037, what would be the state's estimated maintenance costs even if nothing happened?
Today as we speak, we currently transfer $11.4 million from the Highway Fund and the Highway Trust Fund for the existing Charlotte to Raleigh line.
Right, I realize that, but 20 some years from now, 25 years from now, our maintenance costs are going to be higher, aren't they, even if nothing's done, just because it's an older system?
They will be higher, but this will accelerate the increase.
You're talking about public interest, special interest groups, but you heard from a lot of mayors today.
Again, the mayors are representing areas that are going to be targeted and areas that are going to receive these public funds. And what I'm concerned about is citizens all across this state. And I made no effort to bring people in today. And the reason for that is because those people are working. Those people are trying to make money to earn a living right now. I wasn't going to pull them out of their jobs, but those are the people who are going to be paying for these things that these special interest groups want. And that's my concern. And I'm hearing from those people in my district, all around Charlotte, and all over the state. And they're very supportive of what we're doing here. And let me further add, I just learned yesterday, or this morning, that in addition to the $545 million, the NC-DOT just applied for another $623 million just yesterday. And the only notification anyone got was an email from the rail director to fiscal staff after their request, which they forwarded along to the chairs. That $623 million has the potential to obligate North Carolina citizens from anywhere between $9 million to $159 million just in state matching. That doesn't include the operating and maintenance cost. And that wasn't even discussed. The secretary didn't bring that up. No one even knows about that now. And that goes back to one of the points that Representative Fry made in the beginning. The General Assembly needs the ability to weigh in on these issues anytime they're going to incur a financial obligation in the future.
Most people would say a 1 to 10 match is a pretty good deal.
It's a 2 to 10 match.
60 million for 600 million.
It's an 80-20. An 80-20 match is going to require the state of North Carolina to put in 20% of the funds. 20% of the funds, again, on $623 million, just on the surface is $120 million. The numbers that they provided say it could be up to $159 million. And so my question is, where is that money going to come from? Well, the answer is it's going to come from the Highway Fund and the Highway Trust Fund. And how are we going to be able to maintain our road system, complete our road construction projects, if we continue to take money out of those funds? And the answer is we can't. We can't be all things to all people. We have to set our priorities and we have to fund our priorities. I come back to my philosophy, which I've always had, and that's roads first. We need to maintain the system that we have, complete the construction of the system that we have, and then let's have a discussion about the need to introduce high-speed rail in North Carolina, but only after we fix what we currently have.
Your own Mecklenburg County commissioners disagreed with you last night.
It was the Charlotte City Council, and their vote was 6-1. And the one dissenting vote was my city council district person. And it's because he understands the needs of our district. It's congestion. Today as we speak, my kids are not going to school because the wind that we had in Charlotte last night blew down power lines and closed I-485. It is so bad that I-485 is closed from the Carolina Place Mall all the way back to Matthews. And the exits along there are all backed up. Traffic is backed up from I-485 all the way to South Carolina today. And that even kept my own kids from getting to school because they had to cross that interchange today.
Are you worried about the cost? Of course you brought up the maintenance cost long term, and once you build it, you take care of it. But is this more of a philosophical argument about letting a bureaucracy, the DOT, accept money, and the General Assembly pays the bill after it's in place? Which is it?
Well, it's all of those things. It's fiscal concern, but it's also oversight. That was what we discussed today, and I think it's very imperative and it's very appropriate for the General Assembly to weigh in any time that a state agency is going to incur a future financial liability.
Would that count for health too? I mean, all the block grants that we get in terms of Medicaid and child nutrition? And
I think it certainly could. Again,
education?
it could. My area at the moment, my responsibility is transportation. So that's my area of expertise at the moment, and that's my concern.
Philosophically, in terms of the legislature being able to okay or not okay applying for federal funds that would cost the state money, that applies to a whole lot of things in the state.
I think everything should be considered, but I think it comes back to the General Assembly to make a decision whether or not they would want to have oversight over those specific areas. And I would defer to the judgment of those specific committee chairmen in those cases.